Hello, I'm Corey and welcome to my channel. Today's version of Flips, Flaps, and Folds is a fold down tuck spot or a fold up pocket. And essentially use a scrap of cardstock, not cardstock, scrap of paper, and then just fold it to make a journaling spot. So on the fold up version, you literally just unfold it and then you have all of that space to write. And I'm not going to leave it in this book because I have several samples of it, but you would just put some adhesive or I use dry line adhesive for this because of the thinness of the paper, but you would glue that down. So you'd have a pocket up on top. You've got a decorated element if you want to have a decorated element, and you have all of this writing space. I believe Laura from the Papered Soul was the first person I saw with this item. She had a top piece, and she didn't show how to make it or anything. She just kind of had it in a flip through. And as soon as I saw it in her video, I saw it a bunch of other places, Pinterest and some other places. But I believe it was Laura with the Papered Soul who was the first one I saw it. And so I took the idea and I kind of ran with it. Again, hers was a top and you know, just showing you how you can do the same thing, but using it as a bottom in a pocket if you wanted to, or you can use it as a top piece. And the benefit or the advantage of the top piece is it gives you a little bit different element. We often put pockets in our books, but we don't often use top tucks, or not, I don't anyway, as frequently. And the way this one works is this piece would be, it's got the adhesive and it would be adhered to the back of my page. And then you just fold it down for writing. This one has a piece glued over that one spot simply because I used sewing on the front and the sewing showed through and I wanted to cover it. You can use any variety of tabs. I don't think she had anything holding it. Maybe she had a paper clip holding hers, but I thought how fun it would be to use different kinds of tabs. And I just had them in my hot little hand. Here we go. A different kind of tabs to hold it down. So what I would do is glue or sew this section right here just at the top, and then it would be held in place. And then it would hold the piece closed. So when you were ready to open it, you could just pull it from there and then unroll it and write, and then tuck it right back up. Bottom tuck here, I would probably use something like an envelope in this, but you can use tags or anything else that you want, a journaling card, simply because, you know, the envelope gives you one more space to tuck something to be written on. And it was kind of fun and it looked kind of cool in that spot like that. And it very simply gives you a page decoration that's functional. So you don't have to use the kind of tab that I did. You can use, I punched a couple different things so you could see the different options. You know, this is a much thinner side tab, and if you wanted a lower profile, you could glue or sew down something like that. This particular one uses brads or eyelets, and so you would hold the back piece in place with that, and it would allow you to fold this down. Sometimes I like the metal element or metal look that it gets, so I'd put that in there. You can use a half circle, or punch a circle and then fold it over and you've got a half circle. That also gives you a low profile. Or you can use a whale tail bunch and glue one on the back and then clip it down here. So you have lots of options on ways to hold it closed. Or again, you can just use a paper clip on top. There are a couple different ways to make this, and both of them are really easy. This is the one I put in my book, and I did this one for a couple different reasons. One, I've got a little mini calendar here so that you can see I inked just the top page. So I can use it throughout the year, and maybe I'll do some in January and put this in the January section and then peel it off and then use February and what have you. And I used some coffee dyed tracing paper and made a little pocket on it, but I still have the same functionality of it. It's still a fold down. And then this, I just use a ticket and a bird, it's not even a die cut, it's just a fussy cut bird picture, and that holds it in place, and I still have that roll down function with more places to write. And because of the way I put it on, let's see, I can still use it as a tuck spot, so I can put 2-3 tags down in here or in a journaling card, and you have even more writing space. So you get the decorative element without giving up writing space. And the way you do this, and I wanted to say something before and I forgot, of course. I'm going to use this one as a sample or an example. So here, this one. I sometimes like to put a quote on them and just kind of, I think it adds something. This is just a simple collaged piece with a vellum sticker, and then I put a quote on it. And when I do these quotes, I'll get two of the same sentiments, and then I'll ink the whole thing and leave one white. I usually work in this color, but sometimes for gifts and things or more modern books, I'll leave it white. And so I've got one ready to go whenever I need it. And before I glue it down, I can certainly use the adhesive that's on the back and put it right here. But I feel if I put a thin strip of a heavier weight cardstock right on the back, it just makes my expression pop up all that much more off the journaling or off the page. It's not too thick or too bulky, and it's not foam, so you don't get that density. Just put a little bit of adhesive there, and it makes it pop up. And here, just a mini tiny brad at the very edge, just kind of, again, a little bit of dimension without making it too bulky. So that's my expressions or sentiments tip. Okay, how to make these. It's really, I mean, almost absurdly simple. Just get a piece of paper, and this is my second video. The first one, I talked too much as usual, and it was over 10 minutes, and I promised myself I wasn't going to do that. So get a piece of paper, and you can do it one of two ways. You can fold it in half and fold it in half again, and then I just open it back up, and I roll it up, fold it by rolling it. And I didn't do it perfectly. You can see I did it really quick, but I can just come in at the end and trim this, just trim them both down with my paper trimmer or scissors, and I've got a perfect dimension. I can, where did I have it? Right over here. I literally stuck my hand in the bottom of my scrap bin, and I picked out a bunch of scraps. And so I could use the scraps and just do some super simple, quick collage on here. Maybe I have a piece of paper that I love. Just glue this down, and I don't even have to sew it if I don't want to. And then I've got that piece, trim it down, and here is my top or front, like you saw in this one. That's essentially what I did here. Super quick, super easy. So that's one way to do it. Fold it in half, fold it in half. Another way to do it is what I say when I say begin with the end in mind. So this one I had started. I had this scrap of paper with an ugly spot on it, but I wanted to use a specific element. So I went over to my ready-made bin, or things I've made and thrown in here. They're mostly done. Sometimes maybe they're all done. Sometimes they might need an embellishment or something, but let's just say I've got one here. Oh, I think I like this. I want to use this. Well, I want to make sure that the piece on top is large enough. So all I did was I measured the dimension of this, and I think it was 4 inches. And so I took my scoreboard, and I had my piece of paper, and I scored it at 4 inches or 4¼ inches so that it would be big enough, so that I knew, let's see, yeah, like that. I knew that my front was going to be big enough to hold the embellishment that I wanted. I still have the option, I can still roll this down to journal, and I can still use it as a top tuck or a pocket, either way. But that's just kind of a little tip. And so what I did was I scored it at 4¼ and then I folded this piece up and I pulled it down, and I didn't want to score it exactly the same length. I wanted to score it just a little bit up so that I didn't catch this piece on the next piece when I folded it. And that's it. And then just trim down the excess off the back, and you've still got a nice fold down. So that's one way, really simple way. If you have a scoreboard, you can still fold it blindly. You don't have to use a scoreboard. And then the other way I do it is this. So I've got my scrap. I'm going to fold it in half. And again, you don't have to be super precise with this because you can always trim it at the end. I'm going to fold it in half, and then I'm going to fold it in half again. I like it, you can certainly pull it down this way, but I like it when it folds down in an accordion fashion. So if this were going to be a top tuck rather than a bottom tuck, I want it to roll down like this. So this will be my back piece. And so all I do is come in here, and I've already got my creases established. I know what size pieces I need, and I fold it in the other direction, just recreasing it. You've got a little bit of wiggle room because it's close, and make sure it's mostly straight, and there you go. What I will often do is, if this is the piece I'm going to decorate, whether it's with collage or an embellishment or just one piece of paper that I really happen to love, I'll write a T or an R, or right side or top side, whatever. Because then when I'm decorating this, I know that this is going to be my back piece. This will be the piece that's glued down. And I know that I'll have my correct direction and the correct piece on top. And then I can just unroll it, decorate it, decorate the front, roll it back up, just like that. You can use lined paper. You can use scratch paper of any kind. This one has 3 folds. This one has 4 folds. I've got one here somewhere. 4 folds. This one, no, that doesn't have any. Here we go. This one. I did this one the same way, and you can see this is a 4 fold. I just caution you, you can of course do it, you can make it work, but I caution you, look, junk journals tend to get chunky anyway, but you can see this is pretty thin because I've used thin paper. But this, I think I've got like 8 folds, or I don't even know. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so you can see I've got 8 folds here, and it just, even though I've creased it down with my bone folder, it just makes it really chubby. So just be careful how thick you get it. The other caution I had, here it is, cardstock. I love cardstock, but it just makes it really chunky. You can certainly use cardstock. You can fold it and fold it again, but it's heavy and it's thick, and you don't need that much weight or bulk in this project. So there you go. I hope that gave you an idea, and I hope you have fun giving it a try. Thanks for watching.